All right, it's the year-end roundup for hotel sales and marketing, and we're going to talk about the buzz and a few hangovers for 2025. I have Nicole Quisenberry. She is sales manager at Noble House Hotels and Resorts. Celeste Burke Nicely, co-founder at Sales on Tap, certified gap seller, and my partner at Lure Agency and co-founder as well, and partner with me as well at Sales on Tap. Welcome to the InSync Show, ladies. How you doing?
Woo! We're happy to be here.
Pre-holiday edition, by the way. So Nicole, we're going to start with you. What gave you the biggest buzz in hotel sales and marketing in 2025?
Absolutely. I think this is a good question, and my brain immediately goes to AI. That's been a huge topic of conversation this year, twinkling into a little bit of the end of last year, but I find that most conversations happen around this subject. Vague, AI's here, it's here to stay, but less conversations around actually how to implement that and what are the resources that are out there. We may get ads on our Instagram and LinkedIn for different platforms, but actually utilizing them in hospitality, what does that look like? For example, with ZoomInfo, one of the prospecting tools we use, there is now an AI feature where you can directly email clients from ZoomInfo's platform directly and do that. Google Gemini is a great platform for searching for live RFPs that are searching for hotels, venues that are to be determined. So I think that's been a big buzz, and I think will actually carry over into 2026 and hopefully get more fine-tuned as people are getting more comfortable.
Wonderful. Yeah, I had a big discussion yesterday with a bunch of GMs about AI and where to start because it's analysis paralysis right now. There's so much going on. And I think just the sheer volume, it's like a deer in headlights right now. So those are some great tactical takeaways that I think people could use today. They don't have to necessarily consider an onboarding or a tech integration or this or that. Those are great examples of how people can utilize that today. Celeste, I'm sure you've got some crazy buzz for us right now. So spill the tea. Let's go.
So my favorite buzz that I get, honestly, is when I've been in the trenches training hospitality sellers this year, and they have friggin' deer in headlights moments. It ties back into the AI when I show them how they are not showing up. They have no visibility. They have no brand. They're not making shortlists. And they think that they are just because they exist, right? If I'm attached to a hotel or a brand, if it's Marriott, Hilton, you name it, I'm magically going to appear. And so we typically go through a couple of steps now utilizing simple AI searches to say, this is actually how you appear to a planner, a novice planner, anybody searching for you. And literally it is like a shock of, I had no clue. And so I think there's this huge disconnect between sellers that continue to stay in the lane of this is how I've always done business, and AI tourism, which we can get into, but not realizing the significant impact that what AI is doing in the back end to catapult you, your placement, how you show up, searches. We're not talking about that at all. So I love those moments that like, aha, the light bulb moments during training of that. But you're on a whole new frontier here. And I'm lucky to be partnered with you guys to start chipping away at that. Sellers deserve to be brought into what is happening right now. And sadly, I can say this because I'm not affiliated with a management company anymore. We do a poor job as an industry on helping sellers like get into the century. This year, we're always like a laggard. We're just behind. So that's been a great like buzz moment, seeing those light bulbs of that. Ooh, you didn't realize this.
Wonderful. That is a great feeling when you can see that you've made an impact and it's all an aha moment. We've had many conversations before on why timing right now is important because ta-da, for the first time in many years, a lot of hotel sellers are asking, hey, can you go find us business? That's not happened. And they're like checking calls, circling around email. The old tactics aren't hitting, dare I say, blitzes. So great. Don't let them in. All right, Susan, I know you're going to bring a marketing spin to this, but which is relevant because 80% of sales now is marketing because we're firing up ChatGPT. So take it away, Susan.
We all know that hospitality is a little slow to adapt. And we also know that we've been hearing about video content for so long. Just this past year, we have really started focusing on with our clients, getting them on board with video content, getting them in front of the camera, having them show off the property, having them show off their subject matter expertise. And we've had quite a few clients that have truly leaned into this, which has been such a buzz for me because the data is backing up that it's working. I ran a report this morning over the past year, over the previous year, to see what engagement and impressions were like over the previous year. This year, we've been really leaning into it. Impressions are up across the board 185%. Engagement is up 54%. This is because the team has been willing put themselves on video, not just show the pretty pictures that the photographer took with nobody in it or with beautiful models in it. It is them being on video, and that has been really exciting for me, and I'm looking forward to doing more of that in the next year.
Yes, love that. Sellers that put themselves on video. Nicole, I know you're more than eager and willing. In fact, you're having fun with it on your channel, so kudos to you on that.
Oh, I think Nicole, you actually have a cameo in our training, in the Sales Untapped community as part of the training.
Yes,
It was so hard for Cory. I was like, Cory, I cannot find anybody. I need you to figure this out. But we wanted to showcase some sellers who are actually like leaning into video or storytelling. I think that section is about storytelling. And so Cory's like, I found somebody. It took a while. And to seriously point, it shouldn't. And I'll interject and then I'll shut up. That's today. So I woke up this morning and I had a booking on my calendar, which is always, if we get a direct inquiry, that's awesome. I had no idea where it came from. So that's the first thing I asked. And what the guy said to me today, I saw some of your video content and it sparked me to reach out to see if you could help coach my team. What?
Boom.
Correct impact right there.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Great examples. Wow, that's going to be hard to top those. Those are amazing. My biggest buzz, and this again is not new in the industry, it is new to hospitality, predictive lead scoring. This blows sellers away especially when they're out looking for a new business, on how much more efficient they can spend their time. So when predictive lead scoring is using online signals such as link clicks, page views, time on website, these little digital breadcrumbs that are factored into the CRM, and it's ranked. It'll give the score based on all of those factors. So when a particular salesperson logs in the morning, they've got a list of highest to lowest lead scores based on these signals. And those are strong signals on, hey, I need to spend time on those people that have expressed high levels of intent. When done correctly, they don't have to cold prospect. They don't have to pick up the phone and wondering if somebody's going to have a conversation with them. So they tactically know how to spend their time, and no longer the check-in emails, looking at reader boards and all the traditional things that hotel sellers have had to do. Again, this is something that's been going on with HubSpot and a lot of other strategies for eons. But now connecting that, helping that bring that to hotel sales, that has been a huge, amazing aha moment in watching people's eyes light up. And that's been incredible. So those are amazing buzz elements, guys. But with that buzz comes a lot of hangover, right? So let's start with Celeste. I'm sure you've got one big, massive tequila-inspired hangover you can drop on us.
I'm still dealing with a hangover from 2024, and that would be outreach. So I went to a specific trade show in and around the hospitality space, and I set up a junk email box specifically, and I still get emails from it. And the hangover is this utter fixation on features, what's in it for you as the seller, your property, you thinking that your need dates or your specialty cocktail or your happy hour is what is going to move the needle on someone booking with you. And there's a lot of statistics from the ASG side, the company I'm affiliated with. We have buyer statistics on people want you to help them solve a problem. And when you talk at them and you send them messages and emails over and over again, talking all about your product, your property that you're so in love with, it doesn't resonate. And so I'm still seeing this hangover. And funny enough, whenever I need some examples, I just hit up my husband, who's a GM, and he has a whole slew of them from individuals within the industry who continually talk about product, the service, the hotel. And I think the disconnect is, and what I would love to be able to have a cure for is, don't lose your human in the outreach. How do we start making it personal conversations, relevant, that you've actually done some research? Because us buyers can sniff out when you're just trying to sell us rates, dates, and space. So I'm still dealing with that hangover. And I think Cory, he shares some outreach he gets. We're still getting it from hotel sellers. And honestly, don't send it at all. It's hurting your brand.
Big time. Yeah. And you hit it right on the head. Is the whole concept of annoying your prospects now is now at a heightened level. And I think it's so much easier to put your prospects on their heels when it doesn't land that first time. But we're still in that mentality of spray it out more. Someone's going to bite. That the numbers game may have worked 5-10 years ago because it's a numbers game. That today can do more damage now than ever. And unfortunately, the industry, again, not shockingly, has not caught onto that. So I could not agree with you more. We say this all the time. Yeah, your meeting space looks great. Those 4 walls, the ceiling's got a great chandelier, stacked chairs in the corner, just like thousands of other properties nationwide. I get it. It's flexible. Okay, great. It's fantastic. But as planners are looking for solvers, trusted advisors, especially the people that are out there have no idea how to plan a meeting, which is over half of the market these days. They need help. Sellers that understand that advisement first, building trust, and it has nothing to do with bricks and mortar, are going to win big time. Beautiful. Nicole, what's your biggest wine, tequila, pick your poison, hangover?
Poison for my hangover.
There we go.
Yeah, there's a few that are pretty shocking. Like I said, I'm new to this. So figuring it out day by day, month by month, quarter by quarter. And one thing that I always go back to when I reflect on that quarter's hangover is the ghosting. And this isn't from prospecting efforts, right? This isn't from somebody that I'm trying to reach out to, trying to get in contact with. This is from clients that are sending me RFPs. Within 24 hours, I'm replying with a proposal through whichever platform that they reach out to me on. And nothing. Follow-up emails, follow-up calls, reaching out, and nothing back. And it's just unfortunate because similarly to your buzz, Cory, with the lead scoring, it's when we're looking at our book of business for that week, you're in competition with a lot of other groups. And how are we supposed to know if they're ready to book or if they're even interested when we have multiple layers coming in? That's been something that's pretty interesting. And even one step further to that is ghosting until, hey, we're ready to move forward.
Totally.
I'm sorry, I haven't heard from you in months.
So
that kind of shocked me. That happened pretty recently, a few times over. Sending a proposal and then just getting ready to go to contract weeks later. And with that, red lines and then requests for concession. And so that would be something that I've learned to navigate and manage, and only not necessarily giving up on those leads, but prioritizing other ones.
Absolutely. That's a good indicator of how that engagement's going to go. Yeah, we thrive on communication. Glad you touched on it because that is a huge, in fact, Susan and I just talked about that.
Just talked about it this morning.
Great time. What happened to people's communication skills? More importantly, you're doing this today. How is that going to affect my thinking of you down the line? It's a two-way street. And I don't know what happened to just the grace and just common decency of not interested. Hey, I need a little bit more time. Hey, thanks for sending that over. Even when you've done something for somebody, and it goes beyond even just business back and forth, even with just general communication.
Where I stand on this, Cory, one would be moving to a place where the reliance isn't on RFPs, right? This well-fed industry, and hey, I come up through it as well, don't get me wrong. But now I get a visceral reaction when I get an RFP, because as a seller, you cannot influence the sale in a blind RFP. There's no two-way communication. So the only way around that is to drive your own pipeline so you have a very low reliance on RFPs. They're like gravy. If they come in, great, but who cares? And it is our hope that we are able to build up sellers enough to have their own personal brand so that people know you directly. So you've already built that two-way communication with someone that you can reach out and say, Susie, what's up? I haven't heard from you. Well, you've already had 10 conversations with Susie when they sent the RFP. So like, we know that's a huge hill to climb, but in a lot of other industries, the reliance on RFP business is such on the decline because there's such a low win rate on those. It is hard to build business based on RFP, and it's hard to influence the sale or even help understand what they're trying to solve for if you never have a conversation. So we get it, it's tough, but our goal is to help sellers be able to drive their own business and build their own pipeline so you don't have to rely so much on RFPs. And you can actually be picky and choosy and say, I'm not doing it. I'm not filling this.
That was great. Was that your hangover? That was a great add-on.
I just had to, because I've dealt with, actually I told someone from a very well-known organization, I'm not responding to your RFP because I can have all these questions. And then I sent them a resource about how not to product buy. And it did earn me a discovery call. And then I filled out the RFP, but at least I got the buyer data of what they were trying to solve for to know how to help them. And so I straddle the fence of coming from hospitality, still supporting it, selling into tech and SaaS. So I see it. But I would say we have also in hospitality allowed that behavior from buyer to be at their beck and call. And I think maybe setting up some guardrails of we will not may change their behavior as well.
Oh, playing hard to get back at grade school. That worked really well, by the way, by the swing set. Listen, you just stumbled out of Lucy's Lounge. So, you're waking up, it's 8:30, got hit with a massive headache, need the Advil, drop it.
My hangover is not anything flashy. It's just a beer hangover, just like classic. The thing that is, I am scared for our clients in hospitality that are resistant to change, because things are changing so fast. And then you see the people that are putting the brakes on it. No, I will never do that. I will never use that. In the meantime, this is such a global issue. People are being laid off from jobs because of AI. Like, why resist it? Are they going to be the Blockbuster of tomorrow? If you keep resisting it, then you're going to become irrelevant. I think and this is what I tell I have a kid in college. I have a kid going to college in a year and a half or so. And the thing I tell them is things are going to continue to change. You're going to learn what you're going to learn, but you need to learn adaptability and you need to learn how to harness technology to your benefit. Because my older child is studying finance, and I'm like, they might not even need entry-level finance people by the time you graduate. But if you learn how to use AI and the tech tools, then that's going to make you more marketable. But the thing I'm seeing, people that are resistant to change, like I've mentioned earlier, it took this long to get our clients to even get on video. They have to speed up their adaptability in order to stay relevant.
Beautiful. I'm going to follow up with this and by saying, Celeste, you and I, we've talked about this in your training. What's going to happen? How is tech going to take care of the transaction, right? So those that are what's going to happen?
They're going to come to a crossroads. They're either going to be asked to take on a self-generated quota, or they may be dispositioned to something else or be cut from the team. The time will come where AI will take on tasks that a human once did. And I know a lot of people are like, is a robot going to replace me? To be determined to what extent some of the tasks. So when we think about how much time and effort goes into responding to an RFP. I can tell you the RFP I responded to took me quite a few hours. And then they told me that the format it was in wasn't the format that they wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I did? I dropped it into ChatGPT. It spit out 32 pages. You know how long it would have taken me to craft a 32-page response to an RFP in text? Like 10, 15 hours probably. That's like a paper in college. So it is my prediction, and I think in Europe, and there's a couple of tools out there right now, that responding to RFPs in hotels will be taken over by an AI function. And when we look at a traditional seller who spends 90% of their time responding to RFPs, following up, checking in on them, updating status, if that goes away, then what? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
How is that person's time going to be used? It either is going to be used for outbounding, building pipeline, an administrative role in the hotel, or that role may not exist. So I don't think we yet know what that is, but it is coming.
It is. I know intimately companies right now are connecting a prospective prospect who's looking for a venue directly with a hotel, no intermediary. By the way, and no RFP process. I did a 5-minute Cory meeting planner exercise on my GM call yesterday, and reaction of Cory looking for a venue. It gave me the 5 venue. You guys have seen that illustration that I have. It's just a matter of time, and the time is very short, where it's going to eliminate that need to wait. No one wants to wait. We don't have to wait anymore.
No.
So,
and probably the upside to it is that the responses will be more detailed. They'll be more accurate.
Yep.
They actually will probably increase RevPAR because it'll be quoting in ADR. Like all of the nuances tying together your PMS, your sales and catering database, whatever you use, getting all the real-time insights, like looking at Spider, like putting everything together to put a detailed RFP. The amount of human oversight, there's just so much more error when a human is involved. And especially if AI is being used to detect cancer and all this, like you better believe it's going to be able to respond to an RFP. It's happening in other industries. And so I do think we have to be thinking about if we're hiring salespeople and we heard it from some of our beta testers, this isn't really what I was hired for. And in the job description, it does say build pipeline, right? Drive RevPAR, find group business, whatever that looks like. It's just a complete shift. And I don't want people to be unaware that is coming, but it's coming.
it is definitely coming. And like I said, and this is where the marketing component comes into place. Hotels and independents in particular that are ahead of this, they understand what AI is looking for. They're building the deep FAQs, they're adding the team page, all the things that AI says, look, this is what we want. And it's pulling that information across into a short list. No RFP. I can ask for pricing. I can get all of that right now. I can create my own RFP without going through any of that process. And it's just a matter of time. Now, you had mentioned, obviously, Susan, change is resistant to change, which leads me into my biggest frustration. So for hotel sellers, this drives me absolutely insane. Most of them are lurking in the shadows of LinkedIn. They would plan, they post about the next MPI event on LinkedIn. And literally the biggest MPI event is going on every single day on LinkedIn. Oh my gosh, I open up my feed on LinkedIn. I've got Mandy, I've got people from HPN, Helms Briscoe. They're all there. They're all adding value. They're inviting hotel salespeople to be part of the conversation. Crickets, not many, excluding present company like Nicole. It's mind-blowing to me. I don't understand the disconnect of, we've got this in-person event. Yes, we're selling events. I get this. And believe it or not, I think in-person events are going to become even more valuable because we need that human connection. But at the same time, over coffee, every day I could be connecting with hundreds of my ideal prospects, getting into amazing conversations, sharing value, insights, building relationships and trust, and moving that offline into a phone conversation. I don't know why this is still a mystery. It's been years since we've been talking about this. And now sellers are looking for new business. It's there. Their ideal prospects are there, and they're still in the shadows, except for the occasional property shot, shout out they won an award, or an occasional selfie. That's it. No value. So that drives me absolutely insane. So, delish, right? We're going to talk about some delish things. What's going on? What is one delish piece of advice that's worked for you guys in 2025? I'm going to start with you, Nicole. Take it away, Nicole.
Yeah, I'll kick us off. So, to Susan, your point earlier about adaptability, I think that's been my theme throughout this year, adjusting as I go and as I learn from previous tactics. And you don't know what sticks until you try it. Hearing out this theme, one of the most delicious changes that I've made, and I know you guys are all going to love this, is the video. Thanks for the cameo on the Sales on Tap, by the way. This, I heard it over and over again in trainings, and Cory and I have had several conversations about this. We showed a video together for HSM AI, and I was like, wow, I can do this. This is something that's manageable, and I can reach out personally, or what feels personal, over the phone as much as it can. And actually seeing results. Let me just tell you, back to my hangover of ghosting, the second I send a video, I get a reply. This happened literally yesterday. A couple of touches with a client that had reached out and nothing. And finally I sent a video and, oh, wow, I loved your video. It was so personal and great. And I think that's similar to Cory, your point about getting in person and meeting your prospects in real life. It bridges the gap a little bit between the opportunities to be in person and hiding and getting lost in behind a computer. We've lost that connection to be able to jump on a quick 30-second video. It doesn't have to be grand. I'm exploring the more grandiose videos right now, but just the quick video follow-ups for clients. Hey, Cory. Hey, Susan. How's it going? Where are we at with things? What can I do? That's been outrageously successful for me. So yeah, I'm all about it.
Awesome.
Anyone that's not getting on board, you're already behind.
That's so good right there. And I didn't realize, because you go to TikTok, everybody's on video, or Instagram. It seems like it's not that hard. But then when I started to do it myself, I get it. I had to like muscle through it. It took a while to realize and get comfortable. But as we're advising for our sellers, go to Toastmasters, stand in front of your family. I don't care what it is. Put yourself out there. If you put yourself on a video more, you're going to get more reaction. You're just going to get more business. Because I love you're talking about the segue. In person, computer screen helps bridge that gap. And that's a beautiful example of doing that. So thank you for sharing. That's a great delish segment. Celeste, what about you? One change that's made a significant change, or delicious, tasty?
It's hard because I was also going to say video.
Uh-oh. Come on, you can do it on fly.
All right, so it has been mixing up various bits of content. When I originally started on LinkedIn and went heavy was my last year in corporate in hospitality, and it was text heavy. And so now as I continue to play around and see what resonates, I've decided I'm doing it all. So sometimes it's a video, sometimes I'm telling a story and I'm using a photo. Collabs have been amazing to leverage other people's audiences. Long form content in the form of writing articles and sharing resources. I'm constantly looking at how can I take what I'm learning, I call like sales in the trenches, every single day, and be answering that for the public. So I often think while video can be very intimidating to individuals, there are so many other modalities and not everybody absorbs content the same way. So if that is my delish, it would be to try. And right when I went out on my own, I was like forced. I didn't have an option. I was 40 years old. I decided to become an entrepreneur and really hone in on training. And I invested some of my severance into ups. And one of the best pieces of advice I got was take 30 seconds of insane courage. And so I often have to tell myself that mantra again, because every single month I'm doing something that scares the crap out of me when it comes to taking on a new client or like a new venture. So 30 seconds of insane courage. Maybe that's a text post. Maybe it's a poll. Maybe it's using video, a photo, going live with somebody else. Like, just try it and have fun, but people definitely want to see the human side of you. So that's my delish. Sharing the human side from multiple angles, we'll say. Modalities, maybe. I can't think of what the term is right now. Help me, marketing.
That was like a nice charcuterie board of insights right there. I love that. That was delish.
I don't know how to spell charcuterie, but yeah.
I didn't either. I'm surprised we actually said it. So there's that.
Charcuterie.
I know. Yum. The little pickles.
Thanksgiving is next week. Okay.
All right. You know what, partner? What you got?
Oh, goodness gracious. First off, I think that these ladies have presented some really delicious little tidbits here. I think that's awesome,
Great.
Nicole. I think it's great that you've been doing the video, and it just kind of speaks to what I talked about earlier. And we're not even doing it the way I would want to do it with our sellers, but we're getting there. We got to move slowly, right? So one thing that I have noticed for us and for our clients this year is we do a lot of email marketing. I wouldn't even call it marketing. I wouldn't even call it email, but one of our strategies is we do touch points from the seller as if it's just a personal note from them to the client, not a blast. I have talked before about how I hate the blast with the rates, dates, and spaces and all that kind of stuff. Those go straight to spam. So we do these little monthly touch points. And about a year ago, I started changing up the messaging of the touch points that we're doing on behalf of our clients to lead with the story, to show, not tell. Once we started leaning into the storytelling of these touch points that feel a little more human and people can connect to, our click rates went from 6 to 10% up to 38%. It's resonating with them because it feels human. It feels connected. Like I can connect with you. Like there's several different types of people in your group. I understand that. And here's our solution to that problem. But it leads them into it with a story. Imagine sitting by the fire and having s'mores and having some downtime with your colleagues. This is what we can offer to you. So the storytelling aspect via text in the touch point email, we can also put that into video. And that would be one of my goals for 2026 is to have them do the storytelling through video as well. But that's been a happy little tasty point for me this year.
Love it. Susan, I'll say for anybody that's watching this, a shout out to Sam McKenna, who has coined the phrase, show me you know me. And you'll see that used a lot on LinkedIn. And I think it resonates in this hyper tech forward world where you walk around and everybody is on their phone and they're connected and then dopamine hits. I think at the end of the day, when we can have a human connection, or you can read a story or an email and you feel like, this was written for me. They know me. They pulled out a tidbit and like it spoke to me. It is about showing people you know them, because let's face it, there's a lot of competition out there. There are a lot of hotels out there. They all blend together, but it really is that personal connection. So I love that you're actually seeing the results of what you're intending to do with response rates, because it is just so much noise.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And by the way, Susan, your findings, the data backs it up.
Yeah. That's what I was looking at for a specific client that from last year at this time of year with a 6 to 8 to 10% open click-through rate. The open rate's higher than that, to a 38% click-through rate of people that are watching the video that's associated with it or clicking through to the blog that's associated with it. The story pulls them in and people can imagine themselves in there. I think it's working really well.
And by the way, more of the clicking and the activity and come back to the website adds to that predictive lead score, those breadcrumbs, which the sales team then gets their hand on. So beautiful. So we're seeing now the true ROI of, because that whole word of storytelling, and I think that gets thrown out a lot, but there's really not a lot of meat to chew on, much like Celeste, we talk about personal branding, and I think that's on deaf ears for a lot in hospitality, because it's like a warm, fuzzy, feel-good word that doesn't necessarily translate into ROI. Now it is. My biggest delish, so many hotels are missing out on this, and it is a low-hanging fruit. Gets back to my original concept of non-professional planners, executive assistants. A lot of them are now coming, including meeting planners, on direct group inquiries right off the website. no RFP form. In fact, we're seeing even planners sidestep the meeting planner form altogether, reach out to the property, first name, last name, email address. How can we help? That's been amazing because the sellers know those direct inquiries convert at 30 to 50%, where a CVent, third-party lead, 3 to 5% maybe, and a lot of work.
Yeah.
So when we see the volume of inquiries come in, know the sellers can focus on those first and foremost, convert more direct business. Celeste gets back to what you were talking about. Now it's a communication one-on-one. It's not opaque, it's transparent. They have the opportunity to build that relationship, build that trust one-on-one. And you have to make the assumption if they inquire directly, they're not shopping 30 hotels. Your content, things that we talked about before, are coming to your website. They like what they see. They like the team. They like what they hear. They like the problems they're solving. They know you're going to crush their sales kickoff retreat because they learned it on your site and they go, this is me. I'm not going anyplace else. I'm going to fill out this quick form. Boom. That has been an incredible process for us in group sales. And again, many hotels don't even see it. And I just pulled a recent stat from my GM call. Now it's 60% of people that are planning meetings aren't professional planners. Most hotels don't even see that because these people go into the site and they see a long RFP form and those prospects are bouncing. They're leaving the website. Huge missed opportunity, but that's been a great win for us on our client side. So I got a little surprise for you. You ready for a surprise round of what's your personal non-negotiable word for leveling up for 2026 and why? 1, 2, 3.
Well, I could say one. It's the lure agency word.
I'm going to start with you, so you can start. Yes, you got a little bit of a head start, but I didn't tell you. I didn't tip my hand on this question.
No, I was just going to use our word of the year, clarity.
Love it. And why?
Because I think everything is so muddled out there and things are coming at us from left and right and people are just like deer in headlights about all things. So I think what we are working on is clarity. How do we make this clear and easy to understand? So that's it.
Love it. All right, who's ready? You go, lady in red.
I'm going to say this because I've had to say it for my own self. Journey.
Oh,
I've had to say it to a couple of customers as well.
Band? Or what?
And
It's the journey. Like the journey. It's a journey. I do think because we are in such a, we want everything right now, this instant gratification, we often forget that it's a constant trial, test, fail, error, win, hill, battle, but it's the journey. And it's the journey of learning. And I said this to a client yesterday who was overwhelmed. Our team's not doing this now. And even after the training, they're not doing it. And I was like, we are looking at progress over perfection. So every time we come together and we do coaching on this, are we seeing progression through the skills and the behavior? Because it ain't ever going to be perfect. A goalpost is always moving. So allow yourself the journey. And I do hear that from sellers in the trenches training. We don't do it because we don't know how, we don't know where to start, we're scared. It's you just start and it's a journey. So journey.
All right. Don't stop believing.
That's a good song going into
That's great. I learned that is on my 20-year-old daughter's playlist, so that makes me happy.
It's gonna be my walk-up song to my 2026 sales
Bella?
speaking gigs.
We needed Celeste. You need a greatest hits album cover, and I'll make your journey part of your journey deal. That'd be great. You can be lead singer. Awesome. So Nicole, what do you got for us? What's that one word and why?
Yeah. Celeste, I loved your word for journey because I think that's important to give yourself grace along the way because, that goalpost is moving and you're not always going to hit the goal or get a reply, but what are you doing?
Well, in social media, right? We have these expectations that everybody's crushing it and they're all doing this, when in reality, it's a snapshot. They're just sharing the highlight reel.
Totally. And that's something that I'm learning through my video series process. Everyone's going to get a little bit different and it may pivot and it may change. But when I think of one word that I want my theme for 2026 is wow. on all ends. How can I wow my clients? How can I wow my viewers on LinkedIn to drive impressions on my content and get my brand out there? And also in return, what are my clients looking for that will wow their attendees? And not just, we can offer this back to earlier, we can offer a cocktail demonstration and this is what we have, and more just fine tuning it to what is actually important to the client. They might not be a group of drinkers, so cocktail demo may be out the window already before you even connect. So that is my word, is wow.
Nice. Mine is been mine for a while, and it's going to even progress as we move into 2026, because AI is not hiding anything, but it's trust. Ultimately, first and foremost, and actually it gets back to what you talked about, Celeste, about perfection. Ironically, there's no better way to build trust when things don't go right. When you share about those slip ups, when you share, we're all human. We're all going to make mistakes, but not everybody has the Learjet in the limo. But when prospects see that you've messed up, you've fessed up, and you teach or you share on how you fixed that and made it right, that builds trust so much with your audience. And right now, talking about transparency, truth, trust, those 3 T's, and that's what I touched on that session yesterday. Those trust signals are everywhere. AI is insisting on it. And I know it's going to be part of that big change where we talk about hospitality. When I even talk about the notion of, hey, hotels, you need to talk about pricing on your website, on the group side. And the amount of resistance that I see, and then I show them, hey, I just shortlisted your hotel and I asked it about price. It gave me one anyways. It may not be right, but you have to be forthcoming and be truthful in everything. If a prospect's going to ask the question, you have to give it to them. There's no way of getting around that. And every time that you try to resist that, there's a question of doubt in there. So trust above everything else is going to be paramount in the gold standard of business, not just in hospitality, in business moving forward. So that's my non-negotiable. This has been an amazing round, and probably no shocker that we're at 50 minutes, which is amazing. So before we break, Nicole, can you tell us where our viewers can find you?
Absolutely. You can find Nicole Quansamary on LinkedIn. That's where I'm building my brand, generating content. Check it out. You can get a little sneak peek into the properties that I represent here in San Diego.
Fantastic. How about you, Celeste?
All over the place, primarily on LinkedIn. Celeste Burke, Substack coming soon. I'm having a little glitch. Keeps telling me it's timed out. Sales from the Trenches, where I'll be writing true stories from the trenches there. But yeah, I'd say primarily LinkedIn, although venture to do an AI search and see if I come up too. Challenge.
There you go. I'm going to put you on the spot right here. When are we going to see a resurgence of Panic at the Disco, by the way? I missed that sequence.
I know.
What?
You
still have the ears?
I do. My daughter's we flew last week and we fly again. So she wears them and I keep, oh gosh, I got to get the ears out. Okay, I will make
nice
the Panic at the Disco. I was doing that stuff prior to CapCut. So now that CapCut is in my life, like it makes it so much easier.
Nice.
So Panic at the Disco, which is actually discovery, like things that go wrong in discovery, I just called it disco, will make an appearance. Here is my issue. Brevity. Keeping it under 60 seconds.
I know it's hard for you. But you have CapCut, so you can cut out with a couple of buttons all the ums and ahs. Thank God for that, because I'd be in trouble without it. Susan, where can we find you?
You can find me on MySpace
Susan and Tom.
at Susan C. No, I'm kidding. I did have a MySpace, but it's been a what?
Thank you.
Susan at Lurkers.
This has been an amazing round, as I knew it would be. By the way, both of our roundup panels, because we did with the vendors 2 weeks ago, all ladies, no man except me. So
By design.
Yeah. It sounds like all the smart people are females these days.
Oh, that's a good answer.
How about that? All right.
Cory, I think we all forgot to say that
Oh,
Or if you are a hotel seller and you are still feeling like, I don't know where to start, how to take action, we are here to support you in the community. It just dropped. It is open and free to preview and check out some of the components. It is called Sales on Tap. So any one of our profiles here, Susan, Cory, or myself, you can find us on Sales on Tap and join the community for free. Get in the conversation. We will help give you a kickstart to building your brand, gaining visibility, and driving direct pipeline.
There we go.
Yes. And on Thanksgiving Day, we will be dropping the coolest custom chat GPT for our members. So you don't want to miss out on that. It's going to help you on Thanksgiving Day. Just small team.
And by the way, I know how great the content you produced for the Quick Start module, because I did all the editing personally, and I actually learned a lot from your segment. So what I like about it, they're really short and sweet, little snackable items that anybody could follow along, laugh, fun. It's all on tap and it's all fiery. So ladies, thank you so much for joining me on the InSync show. This has been an amazing session. Hope you'll join me again soon. Have a great weekend. Ciao.
Ciao.